Well, all right, kiddos, it's time to sharpen up those edges and grease up your chains. We are going to live it up with mountain life. Dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, mountain lifers, mountain lovers, adventure seekers, tree huggers, and dirt jumpers? This is Feet Banks, and we're back living it up with mountain life. And I'm feeling pretty good. Soaking in some of that sunshine, snuck in one last pow day on the mountain, and spring is in the air here. How about you? How are you doing? Are your allergies okay? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough ants? That's right, ants. Eating ants. This is a true story. The large ones that chew on the side of your house, or the flying ones that land in your hair, those ants are kind of bitter. But the little ants, oh man. Listen, I'm not an antologist or an entomologist or any kind of ologist, but my buddy Bushy and I were up in northern BC a few weeks ago, chucking spread eagles and shredding pow. Shout out to Skeena Cat Skiing in Hazelton, BC. That place is what skiing is supposed to feel like. But anyway, up there they have these great ants. Way down in the valley, on the way back to Smithers, we came across this massive anthill, little red ants. And Bush got really stoked because in grade 4, an insect expert apparently came to his school and showed everyone what bugs to eat. And apparently, as Bush remembers it, red ants are on top of the list. So he dug right in, put his hand in there, and these are the biting ants. But if you eat them before they eat you, it's all good, right? And of course, once Bush started eating the ants, the rest of us had to. Guess what? It's crazy. They taste like lemons, like super potent lemon sour candies. 2 ants will fill your whole mouth with this lemony, tart taste. It's no wonder bears are all over those things. Ants and grubs, man. What more do you need? Hey folks, it's time to talk about rucks. Have you got bags and boxes and bins of really cool, highly useful outdoor gear? Do you spend way too long digging around, finding, organizing, transferring, and sometimes forgetting your key outdoor gear when what you want to actually be is out in the outdoors using it? What you need is the all-in-one, compactable and adaptable carry and storage system from Rucks. A Rucks has walls and a lid like a box, but it's compressible and has adjustable straps like a bag or a pack. And it brings new levels of joy and efficiency to the old pain points of packing, storing, carrying, transferring, protecting, and accessing your gear. All my fly fishing stuff fits in my Rucks. It's weather resistant, durable, and on the way home I can throw my wet shoes and waders in there and it won't leach out and stain the seats of my sensible family crossover vehicle. You pretty much need to see Rucks to understand its awesomeness. So go on the internet and hit up www.rucks.life. That's RUX.life. Even better, Rucks is offering Live It Up listeners 20% off at checkout with a promo code MountainLife20. That's Mountain Life and then the number 20. No spaces. And no kidding. These things keep the gear in and the elements out, and they'll make your life better. Rucks.life. Oh, man. I love it when you nail that in one take. These scripts are harder to read than it sounds like. But shout out to Rucks for being the first partner here on the pod. Excellent to have them on board. And shout out to our guest this month, Lisa Lefroy. Lisa is a freeride mountain bike pioneer. She's an entrepreneur. She's not afraid to pack her shit into a bag and head off in search of adventure. And she's one of just a handful of women out here in British Columbia who are out there grinding through the mud, the dirt, the roots, the rocks, as a sport of freeride mountain biking forged its identity. A couple decades later, Lisa is still connected to the sport, helping anyone and everyone discover the joys that can be had on 2 wheels through her business, bikinginsquamish.com. Some people call Lefroy the happiest person to ever ride a bike. We're going to find out why. She's never eaten ants. I already learned this. But she's got a lot of other good things to say. Let's drop in. So, it's freezing cold out. Is this a good day for? I mean, last time we tried to do this, you were like, let's do it when it's a shitty weather day.
Yeah.
Today's Bluebird.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit cold. Is it too cold to ride, or?
No,
You'll go in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'll go riding this afternoon. And I'm also dropping some bikes off at like 12:30 for rentals.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So business is already kicked in.
Business is kicked in, for sure. This is like the Whistler migration season.
Right.
So everybody from Whistler comes down because it's all still
it's
crappy up there and hasn't melted. So everybody gets in their car and drives down here. But yeah.
Was there any issues getting your bikes, new bikes this year with supply chain? Everyone's talking about the supply chain.
Oh yeah. So I was lucky because I got actually approached by Commensal about a year and a half ago to pick up a bunch of their bikes. And they last year were able to somehow miraculously overcome the shipping issues. So I still have 15 of their bikes. And then I'm poised to get 30 new bikes at the end of May. But that's pretty much what I've been telling everybody this year is I'm like, you don't ever get rid of your bikes until you actually physically have the bike sitting in front of you. So I'm just making these babies last until the end of May right now. So we've been doing a little CPR in the backyard and, making sure that everything's okay. But yeah, I'm lucky to have gotten bikes, which has not been the case for all the other companies in town. So
we should probably jump into this. Bikinginsquamish.com. This is your business. You provide people with bikes. Mm-hmm. And the differentiator is, you bring the bikes to the people.
Yeah,
you meet them at the trailhead.
Yeah, so I started this business 8 years ago now. This will be my 8th year of operation. And when I started it, there was only one other company in town offering bike rentals. And so in order to kind of test out the market, actually funny story, I was married and I am now divorced, happily. And I popped the engagement ring, the diamond out of my engagement ring and bought my first 5 bicycles with it.
Wow.
So I kind of tried to make good out of something that wasn't necessarily a good thing for me in the past or whatever, inexperience, let's call it.
Yeah.
And then, and I made some flyers with Vistaprint, and it's actually funny, the flyers, I get razzed every now and then because it's literally a blurry iPhone photo, which is kind of funny because I've shot with a ton of photographers, but I'm like, oh, let's just get this going. Here's a photo, send it to Vistaprint. Here, rent my bikes. Lisa, here's my phone number. And people just kind of ate the concept up of having the bikes delivered either to the trailhead or to people's houses because, to be perfectly honest, moving and transporting bikes is a complete pain in the ass. And it's just been a great service. And I save my customers a bunch of time and it's more convenient. And for groups, it's great. And then also I get to be up at the trailhead too a lot of the time. So I love it because I get to still kind of be part of the action and get up there and I get everybody's doing these mandatory high fives at the end of it. And it's just kind of fun. It's kind of a good way to keep myself in it.
Definitely. And I mean, that's really interesting to me, the transition from athlete to washed up athlete to I still love this sport, but what am I going to do now?
I'm not even kidding you. It was okay, I think I was, how old was I? Probably 34, 35. And I literally was okay, how am I going to keep getting brand new bicycles and brand new stuff for the rest of my life? Yeah. And so I'm okay, let's try this out. And I actually, my previous line of work was large scale event management. So I was the production manager for Whistler Meadows Plaza. I was the production manager for Squamish Valley Music Festival for a couple of years. And then, we all know what happened there. That kind of went belly up, and then Pemberton went belly up. And all of a sudden it was well, that doesn't really seem like a good line of work to be in anymore. And honestly, in retrospect, thank God, because, when coronavirus hit, that definitely all went down the drain. So, and biking didn't. Everybody was oh, gyms are closed. Let's all bike. So,
totally. The outdoors, the great outdours. Okay, well, let's rewind it way back. We've touched on the mid-career and the late career, but Lisa Lefroy, a lower mainland BC girl.
Yeah.
With your parents had a cottage in Whistler.
Yeah.
They were 70s hippies living the dream up there? Or?
Yeah, so my dad was actually living up in Whistler, and one of his 5 roommates that he had was my aunt. And so my mom came out to visit, obviously come and stay with her sister.
Yeah.
And, they went to a party, hit it off, had a couple of cocktails, and all of a sudden it was make out town.
In those days, fresh meat off the bus was
totally.
Even more special than now.
Totally. So they spent their first couple of years up there, and then, we were born and raised in Tawasin, BC.
Yeah. You have a brother and a sister?
Yeah, they're twins, Robbie and Danny. They're the best.
Yeah, yes, they are. Obviously, this is a A pod being recorded in Squamish with Squamish people.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some inbredness going around. We all know each other. You would come to Whistler a lot. You started as a ski racer. This is before. I mean, mountain biking didn't exist when you were a kid. Really, it was.
Mountain biking didn't really exist. No, like it was. Well, I mean, it existed for some people, but like I was completely daft to it.
Yeah.
And like I grew up as a ski racer, and then when I was about 13, started snowboarding, and then like that was it. As soon as I could like link my turns, I was like, see you later, ski equipment.
Yeah.
Hello, snowboard boots. Love you forever.
Of course.
And then when I was like 20, 21, a couple of my girlfriends started biking, Faye Torkham and Katrina, and then another one of our friends was biking, and she just didn't really take to it. And she's like, I think you should take my bike. I think you would really love this. And so I started using her bike, and it got to the point where I was like, I think I've ridden your bike about 20 times. I should probably just buy this. It's kind of starting to get a little like I'm taking advantage of the situation. And then it was just like, I don't know, I guess you could say all downhill from there, because I like going downhill better than uphill.
Man, isn't that the truth when it comes to biking? So, so those were the kind of the early days of snowboarding too, or early-ish days of, as it was hitting mass culture. Was there a parallel there for you of being, you know, a young woman in the snowboard scene, you know, hanging out at Food Plus in Whistler Creekside, and then jumping into the bike scene where there was even less women involved in the sport?
Yeah, it's funny because like there's always been, it's funny like being a woman and like being in these kind of more male dominated sports, because like I find at least that either you're like extremely aware of it, or you're just like all you're doing is riding with your friends, like, you know, whatever they have under their pants is not my place to say. But honestly, you're just like going out, and like when I was growing up in snowboarding, I would go to Mount Seymour and Mount Baker with like, you know, me and 7 guys, and we'd like load into the van and, you know, come back and, you know, have some beers and then go do more runs and stuff. And then with biking, it was like just the same thing. Like, and everybody was just, because it was so kind of like infantile as of a sport, you know, everybody was just really encouraging. And like that also was the kind of time in biking where there was a lot of stunts and stuff. So there was lots of like built up features. So it's interesting because people would like stop, and you like stop and like session these things, and like everybody's kind of like cheering each other on. Whereas like I feel like the way that biking has kind of evolved, it's a lot more like flow trails and jumps. So it's now all about speed, and like it's definitely gotten cooler, but it's just, there's still that camaraderie, but it's just not as like, I think, easy to like hang out on the trails. You know what I mean? So like I was kind of lucky that way. I liked doing all the stunts and stuff when I was younger, which are now like almost antiques in the sport. So yeah.
And that, like, what year are we looking at? This is pre-bike park era. Yeah. Sort of like mid-90s, or?
Oh my gosh. Let's gotta do some math. Yeah, like 2000s.
Right. Early 2000s.
Yeah, either early 2000s. Yeah. Yeah.
Mountain biking, you know, freeride mountain biking is blowing up.
Yeah.
You know, the Fro Riders.
Yeah.
Richie, and I know the last time we spoke for the Mountain Life article.
And Brett Tippie. I have to say Brett Tippie.
Well, yes. Richie, Tippie, and Wade are, you know, the 3 founding fathers as far as I'm concerned.
Totally.
You would ride with those guys. Richie coined you and Katrina and the Dirty Girls.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, it's a fun play on words. You're covered in mud at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everyone's in their 20s in those days, so, you know, a little sexual innuendo.
Oh, of course.
Didn't hurt anyone.
Of course.
You guys ran with that.
Oh yeah. I don't think I ever hung out with Richie in the early 20s without him asking me to show him my tits, but which never happened. But definitely that was like, you know, all that. Like that's his style. He's kind of funny, ha ha ha, like blah blah blah. But like Tippie was going out with this woman at the time, Diane, and like he honestly would take us out on the trails and like, hey girls, you guys are gonna session this. Here's how you ride this. Like and like doing things that, you know, we never thought that we could. And all of a sudden you're like, and that's really kind of like the beauty of biking is like you get to these things that you don't think you could ever do. And then you do them and you're like, your mind is just like blown and your confidence starts building. And it's like, I don't know, it's a great sport for that reason. And we were so lucky to be like around those guys during that time, and like, which is kind of a part of, you know, growing up in Whistler, is you are just like around all these high level athletes.
Yeah.
Just by chance. Like,
Yeah. And then stuff starts happening. Contests
Totally.
come to town.
Totally. And also, you know, they also, because they're all in the industry too, they're also recognizing opportunities as well. Right. And like, so, you know, Brett and Richie and Dave Watson and all these guys were quite pivotal in like helping us get sponsors, because, you know, we put a little brochure together and like,
Yeah.
and sent them out to all the companies, but to have those guys actually calling in and being like, hey, hook these girls up is like a huge, you know,
How were you surviving before the sort of the sponsorship? You were a shooter girl.
I was a shooter girl. I
So-
totally was.
For people that don't understand exactly what a Whistler shooter girl is, can you describe the role,
God.
what your goal is every night, what your job is, and also, you know, what apparatus comes with the job?
So I was a shooter girl when I was 19 at the Savage Beagle, which is now like named something different. And it was so funny because I was like the youngest person that worked there by like, I think 7 or 8 years at the time. So honestly, I would go and snowboard. I snowboarded more that year than I ever have. I snowboarded every day. I'd come home, I'd sleep for 3 or 4 hours, wake up, get myself all dressed up and go to the club. And you seriously wore like, yeah, this like shooter holster that had like
a bandolier.
A bandolier, like across your chest, like wham, wham, 2 X's across your chest, and then like 2, oh my God, it was so funny.
Bandolier of shot glasses.
And then like the 2 bottles on both your holsters. And that's exactly what you do. You walk around and you get people drunk. And consequently, a lot of the times you get pretty tipsy too. And like, I used to do like these volcanoes with people where you put, you know, the sambuca in your mouth and like light it on fire, and then you get cinnamon and it's like, psh, psh, psh.
Yeah.
Those were a moneymaker.
Those are still a moneymaker. We
Yeah.
call them face on fires
yeah.
because a dude at Sushi Village lit his goatee on fire.
Oh yeah, because people freak out and then they close their mouth too quickly.
But literally, I was at a heli lodge this winter and I pulled that out.
Oh, yeah.
And they asked me if I want to come back and bartend for the last 3 weeks of the season, right? Because somebody saw it on the internet and was like, "We want that. That's the experience we want. Face
Oh my
on
God,
fire."
I love it. I love it.
No, those are the moneymaker.
And so yeah, like I honestly, like it's so crazy, you know, you work 4 days a week and you're like making $300 a night, and like when you're 19, you're just like, whoa, $300 cash a night. That's
And then
like the
ride
best.
every day.
And then ride every day.
So how long did you do that? 1 season or?
Like a season and a half. Yeah, season and a half. And then like, I don't know, worked at pretty much every restaurant. I think, you know, I was bartender at Max Fish. Like I remember standing on the bar for like the Millennium New Year's and spraying everybody with champagne and like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Waiting for the power to go out because it's Y2K.
Oh yeah, totally.
Didn't happen.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, Whistler's funny because it's like a fine mix between like being a high level athlete, being able to afford all the shit to make you a high level athlete, and becoming a party professional.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, there's a fine line through there.
Totally. And I don't even think one can work without the other. You know?
Yeah, well, networking.
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Networking.
So what was the transition like from that into being, you know, taken more seriously as a rider and getting paid to sort of dedicate your time in that direction?
Well, like I was saying, like we went and we like just started biking all the time, and then we were biking with like all the dudes and like doing all the hard trails, and like then photographers started asking to shoot us, and like, you know, and we started laughing because we're wearing like all these hand-me-downs from all the guys, and like literally, like I remember having a pair of shorts from Brett that I like had to roll 3 times because otherwise they'd fall down.
Yeah.
And then eventually we're like, well, this seems kind of stupid. Like if we're getting all this attention and like we seem to be rolling in the right circle and doing all the right things, like why don't we at least try it? And you know, my dad's always taught me, like, you know, if you want something, just ask for it. And even if the answer is no, you're right back where you started. So, you know, no loss, no foul. And so we put these brochures together, and they're the most like adorable brochures you've ever seen. And it's like, we love biking. Like, here's these races that we've done, and like da 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 da. And then it just got eaten up, and all of a sudden we were like getting boxes of clothes and like free bicycles and
And was there much like female specific clothing back then, or were you just getting
no, no.
small dudes?
Small dudes,
Right.
small dudes. Like,
Right.
like we, like one of the first companies we actually ever worked with like making girl clothes was Dakine. And, they were so awesome. Like they always used to just be like, hey, their whole jam was open up the catalog and order whatever you want. Right. Like we don't really pay our athletes, but you can have anything you want. So it's kind of funny. I still have like, 25-year-old Dakine bags and stuff forever and a day, but they're so great with working with their athletes. So they would send us these like super squared off kind of like jerseys and be like, here's our first attempt. What do you guys think? And we're like, well, all women don't have 12, like 6-inch torsos, and like, remember we all have boobs. And so we'd send them back and like have them pinned places. So we worked with them a bunch to like make jerseys and like make stuff that like fit women straight up. And then like, I don't know, a lot of other companies just started getting on board, but it was definitely like a slow progression for sure.
Was mountain biking drawing their sort of culture from motocross at the time? Like, was it porn stars and
Oh, it was super porn stars. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, so I think you're kind of like starting to go down the line of like one of our, like we also, which I never kind of touched on in our article, there was also like this contest that Raceface put together, and it was called the Ultimate Freeride Challenge. And it was like, hey, submit this 1-minute video. And it's interesting because this is like very, very infantile stages of...
would have just been a new thing.
Totally. And very infantile stages of like the internet too, right? So we put together a 1-minute video, and it's funny, like Alex Warburton shot it, Dano took the pictures, so it's all these
pro team,
all these pulls from like our snowboard world. And it's actually funny because a lot of them were like, we got them on board because we'd be like, hey guys, you want to come biking with us? And then we'd like throw them down a hill and they'd be like, you guys are fucking crazy, and then we're like, okay, sweet, wow, we looped them in, okay, perfect. And so we made this video, and it was, I think that there was like 12 finalists, and we were chosen as one of the 12 finalists. And we ended up making it like all the way down to the semifinals. And of course, we were the only girls. And this contest went on for like 4 years' time. And we, as far as I know, and like, which I'm almost positive, but if I'm wrong on this, then to be corrected, that we were the only women ever chosen to be in that free ride challenge. So we like very much were pursuing it. You know what I mean? Like making it kind of a job. And it's interesting, like there's a lot of stuff online right now, like with women, and like that there's not enough coverage for things, and like, we treated it like a business. We were like waking up and like, who are we going to go after? Right. Who do we need to talk to? Who do we like keep drilling the things?
And was it like, hey, we're going to pursue this opportunity more so than this one? Or was it just almost everything that was available? You guys
everything that was available. Totally. Right. And yeah, like then we got people definitely ate it up. And
this is before YouTube, like the video would just go to those guys and sort of go on their site, or
it would go to their site.
Yeah.
And then people have to vote on it. So then, you go out and you're like, everybody vote for me, that kind of thing. So that was definitely big. And then a couple years more down the line, like Marzocchi was always a big supporter of us. And we loved being part of their company because they were very, very like family feel. And, you go down to California and like they take us all out and they come up here. Like we go down there and drink Blue Hawaiians with them. We bring them up here and go take them for a whiskey and Cokes, and they almost die. And one time we were, they would come up and ride all the time. And we were hanging with Bryson, who was the owner, and we're going up the chairlift, and I kind of start poking fun at him. And I'm like, because whether or not like if you know the Marzocchi like campaign, it's always was like straight up porn stars, like holding the mountain bike forks, right? And like, tits are all out and like slapping all over the forks and stuff. And I kind of started taking like the piss out of Bryson, and I was like, oh my God, like, could you be more kind of like easy, like, or basic or whatever, however you want to call it. And he's like, well, what do you think we should do? And I'm like, ha ha ha, I think you should use us in your marketing. Like, you should make us the Marzocchi girls. And he's like from the chairlift ride start to the finish, he was like, totally agree. Let's do it. And I'm like, oh, well, that worked. That was awesome. Like being,
yeah, that's crazy.
Being cocky and direct actually worked. Look at that. And yeah, so Katrina and I were flown down to Los Angeles, and 2.5 hours of hair and makeup, and they had to spray paint our whole body because we were like black and blue because it was like during the season and stuff, which was so funny. I'm like, oh my God, they're spray painting us. And yeah.
And I'm looking at this one where you guys are holding guitars.
That's the photo.
So that's 2005.
Yeah.
So when you say riding a chairlift, that would have been early bike park.
Yeah, that would have been probably like 2004.
Right.
Yeah.
So bike park was new.
Yeah.
And Marzocchi's coming up to rip.
Yeah.
You get on a chairlift with the guy. He already knows who you are. You're part of the...
Yeah. Well, he's the boss of the company that we've been riding for now at this point for like 2 years. Yeah. So...
And then they gave you guitars for the ad.
Well, they actually gave us money.
That's even better.
That's even better.
That's even better. The money, it wasn't at that stage in the culture where you could just throw bills in the air.
No. But yeah, so we did that. So we went and shot that campaign, and then came back up and shot all the riding photos with Blake, because there's another poster that has like all riding photos down it. And then we were flown to Germany to go to Eurobike and sign posters there. And then we were flown to Los Angeles to Interbike to sign posters there. And yeah, it was awesome. It was like a super, super good time.
And what was the business model? Was just ride as hard as you can at home and then go on these promo tours, or were they putting, there wasn't really a contest circuit or anything?
No. Like, we would still go do like bike races, and Katrina really pursued like the bike racing direction a lot more. Like, she was definitely faster than me.
Right.
And is better at jumping than me. I was definitely more like on the stunt things, which, like, I said before, is antique. So, I might be a little antique too. So,
yeah.
I try to keep up still, but yeah, so like we would keep doing like these contests and stuff. And then yeah, like we one year, kind of digressing from that poster thing.
Yeah.
We thought it would be a good idea to like create an event with Crankworks as well to kind of highlight women. So we started a contest called Women's Works.
Right.
And we ran that for 2 years, and the concept was like to create an event where women could ride and be judged and not just timed. So one nice thing is that like what we did is we got all these like pro guys to get involved. And so we made them all the judges, and then we created the event, and it was like a 4 stops along the whole mountain. So it was like technical riding section, flow riding section, jump riding section. And then at the bottom, we kind of gave a handful of women the first opportunity to ride in the slopestyle course, which had never been done before. Like, it was always kind of like, oh, no, women can't ride the slopestyle course, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, well, actually, there's probably a couple that can ride the hand.
Like, how many competitors would have been in that first year of the women's work?
So in total, I think we probably had about like 40 or 50. From that, we probably had like 10% riding the slopestyle course, because it was both like a collection of who was willing to, and then also for safety measures who we were willing to let do it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm tiptoeing around this, so as to not offend anybody.
Yeah, well, some, we've seen it in every sport. There's
totally.
Some people have a lot more motivation than maybe experience.
Totally. And you want to make sure that you're doing good things for the sport and good things for like that direction, rather than, you don't want people to go in and get hurt. And now all of a sudden we're 2 feet back from where we were. And so, I mean, they crushed it. Like, Steph Nitschka rode in it. I think Anita was in it. Claire crushed it. And it was good, like, camaraderie, like here we are, this is the first time that we've put anything together where it's like, oh my God, we can all watch each other and like actually know what we're doing, or see what each other are doing. And I don't know, it was really fun. Like, anybody that signed up got like a Dakine backpack and gloves. We just want people to be involved. And so we made the whole kind of feel of like, if you don't think you're good enough, don't worry, you are good enough. just come out and try, just be involved.
Yeah.
And so it was a good scene.
And by this point, is there young riders that have sort of grown up the past 5 years, seen you guys in magazines, seen you guys on posters?
Oh yeah,
in
totally.
videos. So you're, role models?
Ish, yeah.
Yeah. And, how was that? Is that a heavy trip to have laid on you, or you don't really notice it until it's too late? Or?
Well, it was nice, like especially with the Marzocchi thing, like, and then going to these trade shows and stuff. We had a lot of like young girls and like mothers and stuff coming up to us and being like, never ever would I allow my child to come and get a poster from a porn star, like,
right.
duh. But like, what a great role model and what a great direction that you guys are taking this in and stuff. And and I always kind of liked it because I'm like, hey, I can hang with the dudes, but like, I'm a girl. Like, I like painting my fingernails. I like wearing dangly earrings. I like I used to show up to like Pemberton bike trails in like a dress or a skirt all the time, and kind of like, you have hooped earrings on, and all the guys are kind of going like, oh, what are you going to run? And I'm like, give me 2 seconds, I'll be in all the garb that you expect me to be in. And that was actually always a funny thing. Like, if you meet people out on the trail and stuff, like, I remember going to Garf's one night after like riding with this big group of guys all day and like riding the bike park with them, and you kind of arrive and like, obviously you put yourself together to go out at night. Yeah. And you're like, hey, wasn't that a great day? And they kind of look at you, who are you? Like a drunk freak show. And you're like, no, it's Lisa. We've been riding together all day. Right. And they're like, oh my God. Like,
yeah, because you're in full face and pads and covered in mud. Totally.
And I'm not like pumping my tires, like, of good lookingism, or I'm just like, it's funny that, you go from like, hair in a ponytail and all this to like, hey, this is like the other version of me. So
was there any negative, did you have people giving you a hard time about anything when you're supposed to be this perfect role model for their daughters? Or now with the internet, I know, a lot of the female athletes are getting that all the time.
Oh yeah. Like we had a lot of, like with the bomber campaign and all that, we had a lot of like, who do these girls think they are? Like, they're not even hot. They're not even this, da, 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 da. And it's funny because like, you want to chime in, and for sure you chime in a little bit, and it's like, hey, listen, at no point have we said that we're models, and we're not trying to be. Like, we just ride our bikes and this is fun. Like, don't be an idiot, Yeah. But then you also are like, you don't necessarily need to go down that rabbit hole with people who are idiots.
Yeah, with the the internet.
Yeah, like, when you're defending yourself against a moron, like, at the end of the day, they're probably still a moron, know? So, I don't know. You have thick skin, and it's fine. Like, yeah.
Do you think it's gotten easier or worse for role models in general, particularly female role models, as the rise of social media? Back then it was a few chat rooms on some mountain bike sites. And now it's like literally it's in everyone's pocket all the time.
Yeah, I think that honestly the level of riding that women are riding at right now is just like so unbelievable. I mean, it's funny because like I'm obviously slightly biased that I'm like noticing how well all these women are riding and like what contests they're creating, and again, like I was saying earlier, I'm a big fan of like, if you want something to happen, like put your head down, create it, and make it happen. And no, it's probably not going to be delivered to you on a silver platter. And it just seems like a lot of women in the bike world right now are doing that. They're like, okay, we're tired of waiting. We're going to make our own contest. We're going to we're going to make ourselves be noticed. And like to coincide with that, the level of riding is also so high that it's like you can't not notice it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I said, I might be biased, but personally I almost feel like women seem to be getting even more attention and coverage because it is like, holy crap, like girls are doing backflips, like massive 60-foot tables, and like it's like not riding like a girl anymore, which I freaking hate that phrase, but it's true, like so
riding like a girl, tomboy. Yeah, you're not big on that phrase.
No, I don't like tomboy. I don't like it. I don't know why, but yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, you're not a boy.
I'm not a boy, exactly.
We glossed over a bit, but on the other side, obviously, like you're an athlete, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably know, even in the time, this isn't going to last forever.
Yeah.
You know, you went to school, you got a degree in
Outdoor rec.
outdoor rec.
Yeah.
You've been involved, like you said, in these festivals, part of
Yeah.
the Olympics. How was the transition out of, sponsored athlete into like sort of kind of an adult?
Well, I actually, big gap in this whole story. So I actually spent 4 years of my 20s also over in Europe, about 2 or 3 years into biking. What is now Crankworks was like the initial inception of Crankworks was Joyride. And I'm going to definitely tiptoe around all this too out of politics, but
Like there's a history there that people can't agree on. What was what? Who did what? Or?
just like a passing of who created it,
Right.
and that kind of thing. So Patty Kay created Joyride, and it was definitely kind of the first like big multi-faceted mountain bikes event in Whistler. And in order to promote it, he brought out a bunch of like high-level athletes. So like Steve Pede and Brian Lopes and Anne-Caroline Chasson, and then Cedric Gracia. And Cedric and I met in a bar one night, and it was actually kind of funny, because he kind of was like, "Hey, I'm Cedric Gracia," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know who you are." I'm like, "But
Yeah.
good to meet you. Hope you're enjoying Whistler," And he kind of gave me the like, "Whoa, geez, usually that just works on women," and I'm like, "Oh God, Christ." And so he left, went to another bar, and then came back and was like, "Hey, us and all the freeride guys, like Freeride Entertainment, who are all super good buds of mine, and we're all going to this other bar. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm kind of just kicking it here with my friends. We're good." Anyways, we end up like meeting up later. Long story short, spend 3 days together, figure out that we're in love. 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to France, and we spent 2 weeks together. Then he came back to Las Vegas. We kind of chased each other back and forth, and that ended up turning into me moving to Europe for 3 years. So we bought a Dodge Ram. I packed it full of all my belongings, and I moved to Europe for 3 years. And
Shipped it on a boat.
Shifted it on a boat, yeah. And like, I don't know if you guys know who Cedric is. Like, anybody who's in mountain biking will know who he is. He was like one of the top racers forever and a day, and he's the maniac. And like, we had a really good time together. And so when I was living over there, I started managing him as an athlete.
And had you already done you just finished your university?
So this was, so when I first moved to Andorra, I needed to do my work experience. So I actually ended up doing my work experience with Commensal, which is based out of Andorra. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of full circle that I now have Commensal bikes as my rental bikes. But so I worked for them. I did 4 months, a 4-month work experience with them, and I speak French. And so my first,
How come?
because I took 7 years of French immersion
Right,
here.
because most British Columbians,
Don't do that.
the French is
Yeah,
pure
yeah,
merde.
yeah. And no, my parents don't speak a word of French. And I came home when I was like in kindergarten, and they're like, "How do you like school?" And I'm like, "It's kind of boring." And they're like, "Okay, well, let's throw her in French and see how that goes."
Let's make it twice as difficult.
Yeah. We've got a twist for you, sweetheart. So I took my first 7 years of school was pure French.
Right.
And so
That paid off when you're in France.
totally. And so I did. So my first job with Commensal, they're like, "Hey, read all of our brochures and kind of get a feel for the brand." So here I am, like reading through all the brochures and like reading the English, and about halfway through, I'm like, "Who translated these?" And the one guy in the corner who's like deemed to be the guy who can speak the best English,
Right.
he puts his hand up all proud, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't mean to be rude, but these make no sense. Like, not even a little bit of sense. Like, they were just like completely jumbled. So Max Commensal was like, "Okay, well, that's going to be your first job. Retranslate all
Yeah.
these." And then he's like, "If you're already going down this road, then why don't you become our international like relations person? So that's kind of what I did.
You're our top English speaker.
Yeah, you win by default. Exactly. And so then I started doing that, and then like I said, because Cedric was this like World Cup racer, he's like, can you just help me with my planning and all this kind of stuff? And then I started dealing more and more with his contracts because, so the deal with Commensal came to an end. It was 4 months. They offered me a permanent job. At this point, I had already started managing Cedric, and then was also taking on another athlete as well. And so I was like, okay, no, we're going to go in this direction. We're going to start this company instead.
And was that already a pretty established lane, like extreme sports athlete manager, or were most athletes doing their own stuff? Or
most athletes were doing their own stuff. Like there's 1 or 2 athletes that were managed, but like he was on a team, and so I was working for him, but then also working directly for his team as well.
Right.
So that was when he was on the Siemens Cannondale team and all that kind of thing. So I was managing him, and at the same time, I was on the Commensal team too. So I was on their like pro team doing these races over in Europe as well. And then I picked up another athlete. I picked up Sabrina Jonier, and then I helped sign Jill Kittner to Red Bull. And then I also managed Gareth Dyer. And through all that, like started negotiating all their contracts and stuff as well. So that also put me right in line with like speaking to all these sponsors as well. And because I was talking to all these sponsors, they, you're talking to them and they're like, okay, we're kind of interested in this type of athlete. It's like, I mean, they're products, right? Like an athlete is a product. And if you try to tell yourself that you're not, then you're kind of lying to yourself. And so like for marketing companies or for marketing departments, they're looking for a certain fit or a certain direction, and so that kind of thing. But they're also not always looking for people. And so a lot of times they'd be like, okay, well, we've got this much budget allotted to athletes, but now we have this much budget allotted to doing events. And so I was like, well, being an entrepreneurial minded, I'm like, well, I've got some events for you.
yeah.
And so I would be like, why don't you let me broker some deals for you and get you into some of these events as well? So for like the first 2 years of Crankworks, first 2 years, or maybe like actually maybe year 2 and 3, I brought the title sponsor for the slopestyle course or the slopestyle event, because I was working with like these European companies, and like a lot of European companies wanted into the North American market because that's where like the inception of like the freeride mountain biking was on the upheaval, right? So yeah, I started brokering those deals, and that's kind of what like tipped my toe into event world as well. And
was your professional riding career on the downswing as this was coming up, or were you juggling both?
Juggling both, for sure. Juggling both, but definitely I've always liked business, and like I definitely enjoyed being a professional athlete, but I also like knew that I'm good, but I'm not ever going to be like a top World Cup racer. And I'm not doing a backflip on a bicycle. You know what I mean? Like I'm really good at like getting out there and doing photos and like making things look good and stuff. But like, am I going to be this person? Probably not. So like, let's put our fingers into a lot of different cups kind of thing. Right. That's really not the same, but you know what I mean?
Pies. I think it's pies.
Pies. Put something in a pie. And then one of the biggest kind of things to really catapult me into doing events was we were let me digress. So 3.5 years go by. Cedric and I have gone out from like the time that we were 22 to like 26 and a half. Like we've gone out for 3.5 years. We've built a house in Europe. We've got a business going together. But like, where are we going? Are we getting married? Probably not. We're both 26. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so it's like, where's this relationship going? Okay. Like, it's probably time for me to go back to Canada. It's probably time for you to start making out with random girls, because that's what you do. And so
it was amicable, conscious uncoupling, or
yes-ish. Yeah. Let's say hard-ish. Definitely interesting when you are now also a business partner and your partner's manager.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we definitely like made each other's lives a little bit of a nightmare for the first little bit, but whatever, digress. Anyway, so then I get this call from Cedric, and he's like, hey, I'm down in Panama. You're going to get a call from somebody who wants us to run an event with our company. I'm like, okay. And so he gives us a call. This guy, William Downing, calls me. Great guy. And it's from Panama, like not Panama, Florida. And hey, listen, I've got your athlete down here, Cedric, and he says that you guys manage events all the time. And I'm like, oh yeah, we manage events all the time. Like, oh, no problem. And he's like, okay, so we're launching our brand in Panama in this many months, and we were thinking that'd be really cool to add like a sports show to it. Do you do this kind of thing? All the time. I'm like, look on the internet, tell me who you want. Like, we can get any rider that you want, any rider that you need, blah, 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 blah. And we'll make it happen. So he's like, okay, sweet, put a budget together and send it to me and we'll see what happens. And so I'm like, literally hang up the phone and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, holy mother frick. Like, this is the epitome of like, fake it till you make it, right?
And this would have been 2008, 2009? Like...
Yeah, exactly. And so I slap a budget together and call like a couple of construction companies or like just lumber companies in Panama. Call like a trail builder, like, a course builder or two that I know. So I'm like, okay, how much is this all going to cost to put together?
Somebody from up here that...
Totally, somebody from up here. Sorry, my chair's squeaky.
Oh, yeah, that's...
And put a budget together, send it to him. Calls me 2 days later. He's like, okay, we're doing it. Let's go. And I'm like, oh my God, it's working. Like, and so he's like, okay, so we're going to get you to come down and we're going to get you to come down and do a site assessment, meet with everybody, pitch what you're doing. He's like, it's happening. I just need you to like sell the concept to the other people. Right. So I'm like, no problem. Put a PowerPoint thing together. I seriously like hand drew the course.
Like a bunch of jumps and
like
stuff.
A lot, like exactly. I still have it. But like, if you were to give a sheet of paper to an 11-year-old and be like, draw me a mountain bike course.
Yeah.
That's what I drew. Okay. Like, look at the jumper and do so cute, And I also like incorporated skateboarding into it too, because I think skateboarding is super cool. And so I go down there and I have my PowerPoint and I'm 26 years old and I'm in my little like power suit and like, P.S. it's like 43 freaking degrees out, right? Like I've got sweat stains down to like my freaking waist. And I'm like trying to play it cool, trying to be pro. By the way, I've like never done this before, right? I go in and I'm like, this is mountain biking. Here's freeride mountain PowerPoint. And like get picked up by, it's funny because I get picked up at the airport by this guy and he's like, I'm going to be your personal translator for the time that you're here. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's your hotel. You're staying right at the entrance to the Panama Canal. And and then, everything went good. Like they loved it. Flew back home. And then when it was time to do the event, ended up flying down there with like 23 guys. Like 6 skateboarders, like 13 mountain bikers, and like, Cam Zink, Kyle Strait, Darren Bearclaw. Yeah. Like the whole band of yahoos. And then 6 skateboarders. And then we built a course. We built this course that I created. Yeah.
And like on a mountain or
no.
just
So,
in like a town plaza?
It's this company called Movie Star. It's like one of the largest telecommunications companies in the world. Yeah. They like sponsor F1 teams and stuff. And they had bought out Bell South for all of Panama. So they were given this budget to create this music festival. Right. And it was right at the mouth of the Panama Canal. And it was a free music festival. And so what the concept was to build this, this long course. And the way I designed it was that everything was elevated. So every time the lights came down on the main stage and like you had to change out all your backline and all that kind of stuff, everybody's heads could just turn, however many degrees that is.
90?
Thank you. 90 degrees to check out like our whole scene.
Yeah.
And then all the riders start going and like
And it's just wood, like wooden ramps.
wooden and dirt. Yeah,
Right.
wood and dirt. And then we created this whole show. And so it was good because there was no crowd displacement because everything's elevated. So nobody needs to like actually move to see
Yeah.
it. And it was so funny. Like these guys were rock stars down here. Like girls are like climbing over the gates, like just wanting to touch them, like kiss my baby, you're so hot. Oh my God. Like I don't think the guys, they were like in heaven.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, like we're popular in other parts of the world, but like, holy smokes, are we popular here, right? Like, you know, people aren't chucking backflips like dime a dozen in Panama, right?
Yeah,
so
not back then.
Not
anyhow.
back then. They're seeing this and they're like, what? This is insane. But yeah, so funny. Like being responsible for 23 dudes in Panama, quite an interesting.
23 mountain bikers too, not regular people.
Yeah, 23 mountain bikers, like
And skateboarders.
Oh man, the first night we went out and partied, like one guy got arrested, one guy like woke up with somebody very questionable, like 3 people didn't even come back to the hotel till like 12 o'clock the next day. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose half my crew before we even start. But
It worked out.
it all worked out.
The Panamanians were happy.
Yeah, like once the show all started, it was like literally the best experience I'd ever had in my entire life. Like pride and like joy, and it was just like, you know, lights. It's at night, and this is like full freaking party. You know, there's like 15,000 people here who are all like losing their minds.
Yeah.
And like then our show comes up, all the lights come up. I'm like, go, start riding, start being awesome. And then once it's going, I'm just like, oh my God, like I did this. Like
Yeah.
I fucking did this. Like I pulled this off. I can't even
Out of your
believe it.
ass.
Out of my ass. Like, and yeah, like the guys, the clients, like they always laughed at me because they're like, whoa, you like drive in Panama and you have no problems. I'm like, dude, I love it. I'm like, you get your nose out there, you honk a bunch, and
Yeah.
like, but it's funny because like, you know, countries like that, like women don't take those roles. So
Totally.
like walking into the lumber company and I'm like, hey, here I'm here to buy $50,000 worth of lumber, and they're like, get this girl a seat, you know, like,
yeah.
and but yeah, so I did that 2 years in a row. So the first year is funny because first year I paid off my student loans. Second year I ended up being able to buy a house in
Right.
Squamish, and I loved it. I love doing events. I love doing events. Like,
What months would that have been? Like, were you able to still do Squamish Music Fest and
yeah.
that stuff
So
up here? Or?
so because of like the changes in seasons, you know,
Yeah.
like they're a bit different. So we would do them in like February.
Right.
So like our winter, we'd fly down there and like.
Perfect.
And like I flew down with like banners and like jerseys. Like I'd get on the plane and have like 6 bags, and like I flew home with a chop saw. I still have the chop saw because I'm like, I buy all this stuff that we have to use down there, and I'm like, what am I going to do with it? You know, like, and I might as well bring it home, right? So it was like one of the better experiences of my life. Like lovely people, amazing experience. A lot of learned things that like I wouldn't do, you know, with everything. Same
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
like
Especially when you're making it up as you go.
totally. Like well, and also especially when you have literally zero experience with managing an event. I was like, you know, I definitely under budgeted myself with people power.
Right.
I ended up, well, it was funny because we brought in probably like 17 truckloads of dirt, and it was on this somewhat kind of like historic site.
Right.
So there's all this cobblestone and stuff. Okay, so we get all the dirt picked up, and then I've flown home, and the owners of the place are like, yeah, there's dirt and the cobblestone everywhere, so we got to get rid of this, and like we'll make it happen, but like you're getting charged for it, obviously. So they get the fire department in, and they start blasting all this dirt. Well, it's like red dirt, like blasted across the entire thing. They're sending me pictures. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, needless to stay a couple of days longer to just clean up.
Dirt management is integral.
Lay down the plywood first.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that was kind of like my inception into doing events. And yeah, I love doing events.
So is it, you know, obviously you came back, you did a couple music festivals, the Olympics. events didn't really stop until just a couple of years ago, but you sort of drifted more into the biking in Squamish.
Yeah.
Before just events. Is it too stressful or?
No. Pretty much like when, I don't know. I love working for myself. I always have. And most of the things I've done have succeeded. So that makes it even better, I guess.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, like with the whole event to bike rental company bike rental company, it was more just recognizing that there was kind of a need in Squamish.
Right.
And then going like, I really love events, and even kind of like the second like the music festival that like when Squamish Valley Music Festival went belly up, I'd already started my bike rental company.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, listen, like at that point, they're paying me enough to be able to hire somebody else. You know what I mean? And so they kind of overlapped a little bit. But starting the mountain bike rental company was more just like, there's only one other person doing this in town, and it seems like there's a growing demand for this. And so
And O wasn't there.
yes, totally. And then it was kind of funny because like, I mean, definitely I'm able to like leverage my reputation and like relationships that I already have. So, I'm kind of going in and it's like, maybe the other guy wasn't really as liked in town. And so it's like, well, we'll use you just so we don't have to use them kind of thing.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you're known as the happiest person to ever ride a bike, right? So I think
most days.
yeah.
I definitely like saying hello to people out on the trails. Yeah, it's funny. My boyfriend always jokes. He's like, I think you almost like scare people when you say hello, because I'll be like, hello.
Just leaps out of the bush.
Yeah, I'm
right?
not very quiet. Let's put it that way.
I always am interested to talk to people that have shifted out of the athlete realm about just you said, listen, athletes are products. Don't pretend they aren't.
Yeah.
Has that changed? Do you know, like, is there any companies that are giving their young athletes, a chance to go to school, paying for school, or like health benefits, or is there?
Gosh, I have no
Are they
idea.
taking RSP deductions off, or is there anything like that, or is it still like burn hot, flame out early, and there's 10 more kids to take your place? I always wonder about.
You know
that.
what? I honestly can't really speak to that very much because I'm not kind of in that
it
realm
certainly didn't
anymore.
exist when you were doing athlete management. You were never negotiating for health,
no.
for dental and
No.
medical.
And I think nowadays, like, people are, as far as I have heard or know of, that people are being compensated a lot more too.
Right.
So like, I mean, when you're a sponsored athlete, you're basically like, you're a contractor, right?
Yeah.
So it's like any role, like, if you want all those health benefits, you take a portion of your money and you go and buy yourself health
on you.
benefits.
There's there's no union or anything.
No. But yeah, it's interesting. Like,
It is interesting because all the big team sports, they all have unions.
Yeah.
They all take. I mean, what a nightmare to organize a freeride mountain biker union.
oh
but
yeah.
There's an event.
What was it? What did it used to be called? Somebody wanted to do it, and it was called FU, and it was like oh god, that was years ago. I remember talking to Cam Zink and Darren Bear Claw about it in Vegas, and they were like, because there was a couple of like hiccups at some events and stuff where they were feeling like their safety was being compromised for coverage and stuff.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like wanting to rally together themselves and just be like, okay, here's our standards.
Yeah.
And here's what we will do and what we won't do and what we will be paid and what we won't be paid. And so I'm not really sure where that lies at this point.
Maybe it's all still too new. These sports.
Totally.
These are only 30, 40-year-old sports.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like snowboarding is that, their governing body, is it still under the ski
I have no
FIS,
idea.
right? Like, it seems the Olympics You know, we seen it at the Olympics in Japan with the women's slopestyle skiing, where it was dangerous conditions.
Yeah.
And the show must go on, and it, you know, it didn't do anyone any favors.
It just looked like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was dangerous.
Yeah, and then it is kind of crappy too, because then anybody not knowing what the actual is going on.
Exactly. It doesn't help the sport.
Yeah, they just turn the TV on and they're like, "Oh, is this where we're at?" Like, "Oh, really?"
Totally.
Not really actually saying that it's like minus 25 and like you know, winds of 110 and like nobody in their right mind would actually snowboard in that. But so it's interesting. Like,
I know it's gonna be. I mean, it feels like, you know, these sports have been around almost our whole lives.
Totally.
But they're actually still quite new.
And there are, like, you know, there are people in the game now who have been doing it for so long that they can kind of go like, and I mean, those are some of the names that I've mentioned, and some of those guys are now like retired and retiring, but are definitely were people who are like, no, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
And like, we're all banding together and this is going to be, and like, sometimes definitely they create very trying situations at events, but like ultimately if they're the ones like flipping a gajillion times onto things that they don't feel are right,
it's
then
their vertebrae, right?
exactly like
injuries. Speaking of vertebrae, you know, you've banged yourself up a fair amount.
Yep.
I have a quick list: couple collarbones, leg in 3 places, twice in the same 3 places,
3 times. Yep.
3 times.
3 times.
As you know, get a little bit older, did those injuries, are they nagging? Do they affect your life now?
Luckily, no. I dislocated my finger last 2 years ago, which has been a bit of a pain. I went over my bars and got up, and I was actually more focused on the fact that I'd smashed my face into a rock, so I thought that I'd lost a tooth, but
right.
It was kind of funny. I was with a friend of mine, and I'm like, am I okay? Did I lose a tooth? And he's kind of looking at me. He's like holding my shoulders. He's like, I mean, you don't look good, but like, you haven't lost your tooth. And he looks down and he goes, Lisa, your finger is completely sideways. And sure enough, my index finger was like completely sideways. And like, I've taken all the first aid courses, right? I'm like, I know what they're going to do at the hospital, which is P.S. not the right thing to do in retrospect, because
you did it yourself.
Yeah. So I just looked and I'm like, holy fuck. And I just cranked it right away. And then I go to pick up my bike to go down, like tell him, I'm like, you just ride the trail. I'm fine. I'm going to go back down this way that we climbed up. And I go to pick up the bike and my finger goes back out. So then I re-straightened it. And kind of the funniest thing about that is I had rental bikes out at the time. So I get back. Oh my God.
Like that.
Oh my God.
We just showed a picture of a dislocated finger. Was it like that?
No, it's completely like that. Like completely sideways.
If you have the stomach for it, Google dislocated finger on the internet.
Yeah, it was like
it's nasty.
Completely sideways. So that was my COVID finger because you couldn't go to the doctor.
Right.
I got one chance at going to the doctor, and then everything else we did like therapy online. And I would joke with this like lovely woman who was my therapist, and she's like, "Okay, well, put your finger up to the computer screen, and I'm gonna measure it." And I'd be like, "Near, far, near, far."
It's so crazy. Hey, I blew the tendons off my tricep.
Yeah.
Right at the start of COVID.
Oh my God.
Which was cool. I had a private hospital for the surgery.
Yeah.
But then that was it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're on your own.
Yeah, it's like therapy. No. We don't do therapy for this.
And I mean, we've been pretty lucky out here. You know, we live outside.
Yeah.
Right? And it's 10 months of the year.
Yeah.
You can go have a fire by the river, no problem.
Oh,
you
totally.
can have one 12 months of the year if you have the right jacket.
Yeah, if you're crazy. Yeah.
No, I feel like we got pretty lucky with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So you're, well established with this business, biking in Squamish. Last time we talked, you were maybe going to expand up to Whistler. Did that happen, or?
We will see what happens this year. We'll see how many bikes I get in. I own the website bikingandwhistler.com as well, which is obviously great for SEO purposes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to expand to Whistler. I think that there's still some opportunities up there, despite the fact that there's lots of bike rental companies. But it's really interesting. Like, I mean, everybody's already predicting that this year is just going to go bonkerville, right? Like with people traveling again and stuff.
Yeah.
And it is nice. Like, I'm already starting to get these, like, the emails for bookings with like people coming from Sweden and New Zealand and like, yay, all the Americans are coming back. And like,
do you feel like somebody that comes from, say, United Kingdom or Sweden, and then they come out here and they do a day riding in Squamish, and you bring them the bikes, and they do half Nelson and Suga or whatever, and then they go up to Whistler.
Yeah.
I mean, my limited biking experience up there is the trails are way hard. Like
Yeah.
the ascents are
Yeah.
painfully harder up there.
So one thing that like, now Whistler has unreal trail network for sure. We in Squamish have put a lot of money and time and effort into the actual like infrastructure of mountain biking.
Right.
And
that's parking lots, cleaning stations, tool stations.
totally. And
trail maintenance.
Totally. And don't get me wrong, like Whistler still has a lot of support too, and they have a lot of great trailer builders as well. But like the actual, which has all been supported by WORCA, we've been lucky to have also the municipality back up a lot of our trail network expansion. So we have like these beautiful climbing trails. And like I always say, Squamish is kind of like the all mountain mecca, where you can just get on your bike and you go up and you go down and you go up and you go down and you go up and you down. And like a lot of our climbing trails are like just as lovely as like the trails going down, which is so lucky, because you're totally right. Like the ascents in Whistler are definitely like,
I was walking up a lot of them.
they're gnarly.
Yeah.
They're gnarly. They've got a lot of baby heads. They've got a lot of, they're steep, super steep. It's also really interesting, like just even the different like topography of all the areas. Like I always say, you know, Pemberton is like sand, dirt, Whistler's rock. We're like dirt and slabs. Like, and then, and like, it's interesting that in such a small area from like Vancouver all the way to Pemberton, you can pretty much ride like any kind of riding, you know, and all like some of the gnarliest riding in the world, which is awesome. But yeah, so Whistler, like definitely.
Like if you get 5 geeks off the street and you're dropping them off bikes at the start of some famous Whistler trail.
Yeah.
Do you be like, oh man, you guys are in for a hell of a day? Or
Well,
is there a sense of like,
to be perfectly honest, that even happens here, which is funny because when I first started the company, I'd like drop people off at the bottom of the climb trail here. And I mean, you know, if you're in good shape, you can make it like to the top in 45 to an hour. And
sure.
You know, obviously some people faster than that, and hey, good on you for that. But I was like saying that to people. I'm like, oh, how long is the climb going to be? I'm like, oh, you should be able to do it in like an hour and a half. And they'd come back and they'd be like, the climb took us 2.5 hours. And so I was like, oh my God, Lisa, like you like put your freaking sales hat on, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, so now I drop bikes off and I'm like, you know what? It might take you 3 hours. And then they come back and they're like, it took us 2 hours.
We
We're
crushed
so sick.
it. We crushed it.
I'm like, like tell people like, you know. Like,
that's the classic like.
Under promise, over deliver.
50% off because we doubled the price.
Exactly. And so that's kind of just like, it's all just kind of like part of the learning curve, right? Like,
and I feel like we have to talk. Hopefully it's not even a conversation anymore. But I mean, I rented e-bikes off of you,
yes,
right? Which is my favorite way of biking, right? Because we rented them to explore, right? And go over creeks that you couldn't take a dirt bike up, and go deep and go far, and find new zones that I would never been to. Is it still a thing where, you know, there's the purists and then there's the rest of the world?
Oh, totally.
On the e-bike train, like.
Oh, totally. And there's like, you know, there's still people who like when you're riding the e-bike up and you pass people or asked to pass, they're like, oh, cheater.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess it's all how you want to look at things. But like for me, I feel like e-bikes also are getting so many people out on the trails that otherwise wouldn't be able to be on the trails. Like because they just wouldn't do it, you know, they've got knee problems or back problems or whatever problems.
They're just old.
Or they just want to go and like, so there's that clientele. But then it's funny because like, I feel like there are so many people who are like kind of poo-pooing them. And then you'd be like, well, have you even tried them?
Yeah.
And then they go and try them and they're like, well, Jesus. Like,
I can crush twice as many rides in an afternoon.
Thank you. You know, like they still get like exercise going up because like, let's be honest, like you still have to put some effort in.
Totally.
Even if you're on an e-bike, like you're still having to like put some effort in. But the nice thing is that now they're able to do like 4 or 5 downhills. Mm-hmm. But it is funny because that also is an argument point for people who don't like them because they argue that there's more wear and tear on the trails.
Busier, more wear and tear.
So, you know, as with everything, you'll always find somebody who bitches. You'll always find somebody who like thinks it's like, wah, wah. But
for your business, is it a significant portion? Is e-bikes?
It has been.
People want them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. In the last 2 years, it's definitely, I always joke, I'm like, these things are either going to kill me or make me rich. And I hope that the latter happens before the other because they're heavy. So with also delivering them, like, that's like my daily workout is in the backyard, lifting 60 and 70 e-bikes, 60 pound e-bikes over my head, right? Like,
is the technology, I mean, I've got a car and when I brake, it charges the battery.
Oh, yeah.
So you can imagine an e-bike with that, it would run forever.
Yeah.
So I know that technology exists. They're just trying to get it small enough. Have you heard anything about like what's the future of e-bikes look like?
I mean, it is like, it's like the bikes that I have are like the Giant Trances, because Giant's the other company that I have products with, and they're great bikes. They work way better than they did a couple of years ago. Like functionality wise, they work better. They just seem to be like maintaining themselves. They're still quite heavy. Then you have kind of more your lighter concept bikes. Like there's like the specialized Evo bikes and stuff. They're not as powerful and don't have as longevity of a battery, but like they are lighter.
Yeah.
So it's like
more like a traditional bike.
Oh yeah, like I picked one up from Corsa last year to fill an order and I almost threw it over my truck because I'm like, here I am expecting to pick up a 70-pound bike and it's like 35 pounds instead. So it's like it actually like got air in my hands, right? So I don't know, it's they're definitely here to stay. Like love them or hate them, they're definitely here to stay for sure. And like it's funny because I feel like we're like off the back, whereas like Australia, New Zealand, Europe, they're like, let me show you how this is done kind of thing. They're all over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to touch on before we get into the speed round?
Oh, we're doing a speed round. Oh, Christ.
I'm gonna make it up as we go.
Okay. No.
Okay.
No.
What are you more afraid of, snakes or spiders?
Oh God, snakes! I can't even watch them on TV. I like actually have to pull my feet up, and I can't. Oh, snakes all day. Yeah.
Would you rather have gummy Cokes or chocolate bar?
Oh, gummy bears. Yeah. Gummies all day long. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'd eat them till I was blue in the face.
Cake or pie at your wedding?
Cake.
Okay.
Oh, we had cheesecakes.
Oh, that's a cake. That counts.
Yeah, we had cheesecakes.
That counts as a cake.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. What's the best thing about riding a bike?
Can I have top 3?
Yeah, of course.
Being in the forest with friends, overcoming obstacles that you never thought you would be able to. And I always joke, I'm like, you never know you're truly alive until you think you're going to die. And like scaring the absolute shit out of yourself and then still pulling it off.
There we go.
There you go.
Lisa Lefroy, bikinginsquamish.com.
Thanks, Feet. You're the best.
Thank you. Great day.
Yeah,
and
buddy.
It's sunny. We'll see you outside.
You.
All right, well, there we go. Lisa Lefroy. What a fantastic little chat we had. Always great to see her. That energy, that sense of humor, that infectious vibe of Stoke. It hasn't gone anywhere, and it's not going anywhere. And if you're ever in Squamish and you need a bike, get a hold of Lisa because she'll bring you a good bike right to where you need it. Other than that, that's it for this month, this week. I don't know. We're going to try and pick up the pace here as we move into summer on these pods. Maybe aim optimistically for bi-weekly pods, maybe. Don't hold me to that, but we're trying. We're definitely trying. Until then, thanks for spending your time with us, your commute, your dog walk, your just laying around in the yard or working or whatever it is you're doing. You're living it up with mountain life, and we appreciate your ears, and we appreciate your attention, and we appreciate your time. So thank you. This pod was recorded in Squamish, British Columbia, which is the unceded territory of the Squamish nations, peoples, villages, culture, and history. I strongly recommend everyone look into the history of the local First Nations where they live, or the nations of the places that they're going to. This is the history of the land that we inhabit. And the better we understand that history and acknowledge it, hopefully the better chance we're going to have to take care of these lands for the future. So definitely worth looking into that whenever you go somewhere new or even where you already live. Also worth looking into Mountain Life website, mountainlifemedia.ca. You can find out what's going on with the mags. You can hit up the store, order yourself some hats, some shirts, some cool mugs, and generally just keep in touch on what is happening in the outdoor world in Canada. Also, I'd like to send a big shout out to Shirai Rules for the vocals off the top of the pod, and Adrian Gendro for laying down the music and the guitar licks that we're going to go out on right now. Thanks for tuning in. Keep coming back, and don't stop living it up.